the release of the dual Destiny exotic quests and the release of the exotic class items, I was on the fence thinking there was no way Bungie was going to be able to balance these exotics, but nonetheless, they were able to do that. Now on screen, you can see the exotic pairings for the Hunter Cloak. Taking a look at these exotic pairings, there are a few good ones and a few duds. Some pairings are great for PvE and some pairings are great for PvP. Luckily, I was able to get a Hunter Cloak with two of the best exotic perks out there. Number one is going to be the Spirit of Assassin. Finishers and powered melee final blows grant invisibility. Yes, this is the same exotic perk that's on the Assassin's Cowl. Next over, we have Spirit of Gerfalcon. Your void weapons gain volatile rounds after you emerge from being invisible. This is the same exact one on the Gerfalcon's chest piece. Now, Bungie had to find a way to balance these exotic class items, and they did so in a very brilliant way. If we head over to the Spirit of the Assassin intrinsic perk on the Hunter Cloak, finishers and powered melee final blows grant invisibility. Now, if we head over to the Assassin's Cowl exotic helmet, Vanishing Execution, powered melee final blows grant invisibility and restore a portion of health and shields. Finishers and final blows against more powerful targets increase the duration of the invisibility and the amount in health and shields restored. Now with the Spirit of the Assassin intrinsic perk, you do not gain the health and shields perk, you only gain the invisibility. The same goes for the Spirit of Gerfalcon intrinsic perk. Your void weapons gain volatile rounds after you emerge from being invisible. If we head over to the Gerfalcon's chest piece, See Me, Feel Me. Your void weapons gain volatile rounds after you emerge from being invisible. Then, when you are invisible and defeat a combatant while using a finisher, all your weapons gain bonus damage, you and nearby allies gain reserve overshields, and improved class ability regeneration. These reverse overshields can be deployed by using your class ability. That portion right there is null and void when it comes to the Spirit of Gerfalcon intrinsic perk. Now let me explain why this is such a great pairing for the Hunter class. For starters, you no longer have to get an elemental debuff to activate Stylus Executioner. This can be done by getting a melee kill or a finisher. And that all falls back on the Spirit of the Assassin intrinsic perk, which is on this cloak. When you get a finisher or a melee final blow, this is going to give you invisibility. When you emerge from invisibility, you now gain volatile rounds on your void weapons. Do you see how both of these intrinsic perks piggyback off of each other? They are a match made in heaven, kind of like peanut butter and jelly, or pineapple and pizza. I'm just playing on the last one. Don't ever do that. Now, if you just want to know what these exotic pairings do, well, there it is. Now, if you get this cloak and you want to maximize it to its full potential, then listen up. Now with the Spirit of Assassin, we do not gain that health regeneration. And when it comes to more difficult activities, you're going to want that health regeneration. This is why we're going to be using Combination Blow. When we get a melee kill, this is going to give us class ability energy and a small amount of health regeneration. But wait, there's more. We also want to pair that alongside the Facet of Blessing. Melee final blows start health regeneration, while Transcendent, melee final blows start health regeneration for you and nearby allies. Now, since we're already punching enemies, we might as well take full advantage of that. This is why we want to use Facet of Dawn. Powered melee hits against targets makes you radiant. Powered melee final blows makes you and nearby allies radiant. Now let's amplify Spirit of Gerfalcon. We want to take full advantage of this, and the best way to do so is using a weapon with the perk Repulsor Brace. Defeating a void debuff target grants an overshield that lasts for an improved duration. So with Spirit of Gerfalcon, we have volatile rounds. We start getting kills with those volatile rounds, we're going to get an overshield. And keep in mind that when we continue to kill enemies, we're going to continue to activate Stylus Executioner. Yes, there is a cooldown for Stylus Executioner, but is a minor cooldown. I believe it's under 3 seconds. And once we reactivate Stylus Executioner, we no longer have to activate the Spirit of Assassin intrinsic perk. Now, if you're wondering, Braven, what activities would you use this cloak in? I would use it in more difficult activities. Activities where you're limited on revives, such Grandmaster Nightfalls, or quite possibly the Raid. Now here are 3 mods you want to use with it. Number 1 is going to be the Void Siphon mod. You're already going to be using a Void weapon to get final blows with it. This is going to generate Orbs of Power. On top of that, you want to use the Void Weapon Surge. This is going to give you bonus damage to that Void weapon. Now this last part is all dependent on the activity you're trying to complete. If you're trying to complete an activity and you and your fire team run out of special ammo, you might want to run something like Special Finisher. This is a class item armor mod for your Relativism cloak, in which finishers generate special ammo for the whole fire team. Or maybe you're in an activity that requires you to throw more grenades, then I would highly recommend the Explosive Finisher mod. This fully restores your grenades. And lastly, you might want to consider running the Benevolent Finisher mod. This one reads, using a finisher on a combatant spawns an orb of power for your allies. And there you have it, guys, one of my favorite exotic pieces for this season. It allows me to take full advantage of Gerfalcon's Halbrook and the Assassin's Cowl without actually having to use those exotic pieces. Now, if you want a full and complete build around this exotic or exotics such as Gerfalcon's Halbrook, I highly recommend you watch that video that's on screen now. That's going to be my latest video, and that's what I like to call the survivability build. The build that'll get you through any activity. If you're looking to connect with me or other Destiny players, you might want to consider joining the BraveX Hero Community Discord. That can be found down below in the description. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and like always, I'll see you in the next video.